Kishibe, hop on the beat!
As you may already be aware, December of 2022 is going to be a big month for JoJo. This month, however, was fairly low profile in comparison, but throughout it, we have been getting some updates as to what's coming in the future. There's so many new announcements that it's hard to focus on just one, so today I'd like to just go over everything that has been revealed so far, and what we may expect in the coming months. First and foremost, the Stone Ocean anime's final batch is releasing on Netflix on December 1st. A trailer was shown off recently which I went in depth on in my previous video, so go check out that video if you want a full analysis. Of course, with the release of the anime, I have the intention to continue with the Anime and Manga Differences series, as well as possibly some more anime-related videos. Last month, Risotto, the first DLC character for the fighting game All-Star Battle R, was released. Now it has been announced that the next DLC characters will be releasing on December 1st alongside the anime. However, unlike Risotto, both of these new characters will be completely free. First is Pucci Final, a version of Pucci that uses his abilities from the end of the part. It had been announced earlier that he would release as a free update, most likely to avoid spoilers. Next is Weather Report, who I suspect was also delayed to avoid spoiling the anime. This update also brings a new stage, the Kennedy Space Center returning from the original All-Star Battle. Alongside this, the official Twitter account posted a roadmap for the future DLC. So far, 3 more characters are confirmed for release, the next coming in late winter. In other JoJo game news, there's a new character coming to the game JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Last Survivor. This is a Battle Royale style game in the JoJo setting, which is exclusive to Japanese arcades. The new character is Part 6 Jotaro, releasing on December 8th. This will be a reskinned version of the existing Jotaro in the game, much like they've done with Dio before. Next, the second volume of Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak has finally gotten its cover. If you aren't already familiar, this is a spin-off manga written by Kohei Kodono, the author of the Purple Haze Feedback light novel, and illustrated by Tasuku Kasumura, author of the manga No Gun's Life. It is set shortly before Part 4, and stars Josuke and Whole Horse, as well as some other returning characters. This month the manga was on hiatus, but it is returning for its 11th chapter in Ultra Jump on December 19th. The new volume cover we've gotten also looks nice, although we only have it in black and white for now. It prominently features Ryoko, the cousin of Part 3's Kakyoin, who serves as one of the main characters. We can also spot the villain of the story, Kazuki Kuraya, in the background. While there's no chapter this month, we have gotten confirmation that when the manga returns in December, it'll have another color page and also be featured on the cover of Ultra Jump. Also on December 19th, we're receiving a new Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan short story collection. These are a series of short stories about Rohan written by people other than Araki. Very few have been translated so far, but from what I've read, they're quite good. My personal favorite is Kushagara, a story by Ballad Kitaguni which was adapted into a great episode of the Rohan TV Drama. This collection features 2 of Kitaguni's previous stories, Golden Melody and original author Rohan Kishibe. It also comes with a new story titled The 5-Bedroom House with a... In this story, Rohan encounters a mysterious house where all the residents evaporate every June. Like a lot of the stories, that sounds like a completely insane premise, so I'm hoping it gets translated in the future. Most importantly, however, this collection features a brand new sketch of Rohan by Araki on the cover. Another new December 19th release is a book called JoJo's Bizarre Quizzes 500. It features a total of 500 trivia questions relating to JoJo. Some of the questions include things like, what was shown in Joseph's spirit photograph of Dio that led to his location? Which part of the body did Dio's bone come from that Pucci tried to give the sports max? And, whose handshake event was Joshu participating in when he was cursed by the stand Milagro Man? When I first heard of the book, I wasn't too interested since I thought it might have only had super basic questions. But based on how specific some of these questions are, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the full list for how many I can get right. Next is the news relating to the next issue of JoJo Magazine, also releasing on December 19th. The first issue debuted back in April and featured a long list of JoJo content, such as a new Rohan chapter, 2 short stories, one starring Lisa and the other starring Iggy and Avdol, and a bunch of interviews. The Winter 2022 issue is coming next month, and we've finally gotten an idea for what will be included. The first thing to talk about is the cover, which was first shown off earlier this month. Just like the first magazine, it features a brand new illustration by Araki. This includes Jolene front and center, as well as Jonathan, Johnny, and both Josuke's. More recently, however, we've gotten a small glimpse of the full image, which features Giorno, Jotaro, and Joseph off to the left. Some of the magazine's other contents include a sequel to Hirohiko Araki's manga techniques. This was a book Araki wrote in 2015 that goes over his creative process for making manga. In 2017, it was released officially in English as Manga in Theory and Practice. I'm very interested in Araki's creative process, and the things he went over in the book are really great, so I'm looking forward to seeing what else he has to say about it. Since this book will actually be included in the issue, I'm also wondering how much of the page count that'll take up. Just like the first JoJo magazine, this issue will feature 2 new short stories. The first is going to be a continuation of Rey Infinito, the story about Lisa that debuted in the first issue. The story is set in the 1970s and follows Lisa, who is now the head of the Speedwagon Foundation. She travels to Guatemala and encounters a serial killer with a stand ability. That's what went on in the first chapter, however, and for this new one, we honestly have no clue what will happen. Just like the first one, this story includes a new illustration of Lisa by Araki. For now, we only have a small picture of it, but you can expect it in high quality next month. Hopefully this and the original chapter receive a nice translation in the future so I can cover it on the channel. The next story, and the one that's most interesting to me, is titled The Witness for the Gang. It's a prequel story starring Tiziano and Squalo from Part 5. The story is written by Keiji Ando, an author who has previously written a light novel for the manga Kaiju No. 8, and a novel adaptation of the video game Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. The title seems to be based on the Agatha Christie short story The Witness for the Prosecution. Back when Rey Infinito was first revealed, it was only shown with the Japanese title, translating to Infinity King. But when the story itself released, the title was in Spanish to reflect the setting. Perhaps the same will be true for this story, since we only have it in Japanese right now, and it may be in Italian in the magazine itself. So far, we don't know anything about the contents of this new story. But like the Lisa and Iggy stories, I'm hoping we get a new illustration of the characters by Araki. That's everything major from the new issue of the magazine. Back before the first issue released, we were aware for a long time of there being a new Rohan chapter included. Since they aren't marketing that right now, it's safe to assume that there won't be any manga in this issue. However, when it comes to Rohan, we're still getting one more new release before the end of the month. Back in August, it was announced that the Rohan TV drama will be getting a 3rd season this year. Earlier in November, we finally received the new key visual, as well as the titles and summaries of the new episodes. Unlike the first 2 seasons, which were 3 episodes each, this time we're getting 2. The first episode is based on Hot Summer Martha, one of the recent Rohan chapters which released in the first issue of the magazine. Based on the synopsis, it is almost identical to the manga itself, and will feature Rohan's new puppy Bakin, as well as Rohan's frustration with the COVID-19 pandemic. It's also confirmed that Eve, one of the main characters from the story, will be appearing, played by the actress Kotone Furukawa. In the manga, Eve actually had a pet crocodile named Moo. Like, not a stuffed one, an actual real crocodile. So I'm definitely interested in seeing how they go about including that. The original chapter also featured Rohan's editor Kyoka, who had only appeared in the manga in the early chapter Millionaire Village. The TV drama turned her into the secondary character of the series, and she has appeared in every single episode so far. This has actually been my favorite choice made by the drama, since she's an extremely likable character. Since Kyoka already appeared in this story, I'm looking forward to how they expand on her role this time around. This story is also giving us the possibility of finally seeing interaction between Bakin and Kyoka's dog Marin. Hopefully Marin appears this time around, since he was absent for the 2nd season. The next episode is called Rock Paper Scissors Kid and will be based on the RPS Kid arc from the Part 4 manga. This is similar to the 2nd episode of the 2nd season, which adapted the Cheap Trick arc from Part 4. So similarly to that, we can expect all the extra Part 4 elements to be removed, so it will focus just on Rohan. Indeed, the synopsis of the episode shows that Rohan first meets the boy during a meeting with Izumi, so some changes to the story arc are already being made. My biggest question, I think, is how Rohan will end up winning this time. In the Part 4 version of Cheap Trick, it was defeated after being brought to the Ghost Alley. The drama went ahead and introduced its own version of the Ghost Alley at the start of that episode for Rohan to use later. In the original RPS Kid arc, Rohan uses Shizuka's invisibility to change Ken's hand without being noticed. Since Shizuka obviously won't be present, my prediction is that instead he'll use Mao, a character from the DNA Rohan chapter which was adapted in the first season. In the drama, she was shown to have an ability that lets her turn invisible, so she would be fitting for this version of the story. Ken is also confirmed to be played by the child actor Hinata Hiragi. The original version of the story was somewhat action-packed, so I'm interested in seeing how that gets adapted. Kyoka will also no doubt have an expanded role to fill in for the missing Part 4 characters, so I'm looking forward to her as well. That's all the big news there is for now. This month is a bit slower than usual since there's no normal chapter release. But with loads of new releases in December, you can be assured that I'll have a series of videos covering everything. If you want to receive updates on new videos and chapters, you can join the Hum and Beat Discord using the link in the description. To receive rewards like Discord perks and some uncut videos, you can support the channel on Patreon. I've also introduced a new Patreon reward. If you are a patron of $1 or higher, you can submit a question to me through Patreon DMs or by posting it on my Patreon page's community tab. I hope to answer at least one question per video, so if there's anything you'd like to see me answer, feel free to submit as many as you like. For the patron question of this video, SpongeCake asks, "Hey Hum and Beat, my question is, what is your ranking for each part in terms of favorite to least favorite?" Well, personally, I think I don't have a very objective ranking of JoJo parts. I mostly consider them all equal, but some can move up or down depending on how I feel. But the one thing I do firmly believe is that Araki has gotten better with time, so I would group them like this. 1, 2, and 3 are in one tier, then I believe 4, 5, and 6 are in a tier above that, then 7 and 8 are even better than those. However, I would say that while it is close, Part 7 edges out to being my favorite of the bunch. Thank you for watching. This is the part of the video where I thank my $5 and up patrons. Thank you to Alex Ramirez, Doorbell, Ashton Joseph Miller, Crayon, Rigo Vids, Zukato, Sentai, Pumpkin Doge, Marrow, Almighty Quarth, Oof, Cowrie, Halil, Gatlin Grove, Lime Jinjo, 17-Hit Combo, Phantom Kai, Sponge Cake, Cakext, and Feliciano Rabaja.